the innocent civilians that have been collectively punished and murdered, largely children and women? And are you at all concerned about the fact that the International Criminal Court just today issued a subpoena for Bibi Netanyahu?
Well, that's ridiculous, but it's a war.
Why?
It's a war because it's a war, and they were attacked, and they're defending themselves.
Bill Maher recently made waves on The View, taking on the hosts and their woke ideologies with his trademark sharp wit and unfiltered honesty.
Well, I had a different question, but it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term because...
In this explosive episode, Maher didn't hold back, critiquing what he sees as the overreach and absurdities of the woke movement, a term that has evolved far from its original intent of social justice awareness.
Historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and
migrate.
So why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice, who's not for that? But words do migrate.
The conversation kicked off with a discussion about the term woke. Historically, woke was a term used by the Black community to signify awareness of social injustices, a noble and necessary call to action.
Okay.
Because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left, but don't tell me the left
Or maybe the super far right.
Well, he's talking about the left. Well, then
okay, but we talked about that. I mean, I think we agree about the danger of the super far right, and I can't say it enough. I think they're the bigger threat. But don't tell me that the left hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, Maher argued that the term has been co-opted and twisted by the far left, becoming a weaponized tool that stifles free speech and rational debate. He emphasized that words evolve, and what once was a call for justice has morphed into a badge of ideological rigidity.
Well, maybe it is, but it's true. I mean, if I had any doubt that I was right about the change that's happened in the left, watching people protest for an organization like Hamas, that straightened me up pretty quick.
While Maher acknowledged the dangers of the far right, he was adamant that the left has also undergone a drastic and concerning transformation. He reminisced about the past when conservatives were seen as the primary source of bigotry. Now, he argues, the left has taken on an equally dangerous role, particularly when it comes to issues like the Israel-Palestine conflict.
I mean, let me tell you, if you're for Hamas, just live in Gaza for a day. And I'm not talking about while the war is on. I mean, before the war. Trust me, you would go running and screaming and begging to live in Tel Aviv, a place that has your values. I mean, this is a show watched by a lot of women. Women have no rights in this place, and a lot of majority Muslim countries around the world.
Maher was astounded by the support for Hamas he witnessed, emphasizing that it's shocking people can't distinguish between good and evil in such clear-cut situations. Maher also addressed the media's role in perpetuating these extreme views.
Equal rights as far as speech, dress, opportunities for education, reproductive rights, freedom from sexual violence, freedom from sexual harassment.
The LGBTQ community as well.
Yes. That too. But you throw around the term apartheid. There is a gender apartheid in a lot of the world, where women are second-class citizens, at best.
He criticized how media narratives are crafted to fit particular ideologies, often omitting facts that could provide a balanced perspective. This selective reporting fuels divisiveness and misinformation, making it hard for the public to discern the truth.
Ask you about that because I think you're almost a free speech absolutist. You believe totally in the right to say what you believe. But I think a lot of us were disturbed to see flags being waved on American college campuses and seeing this a generation that some I think genuinely care about the plight of the Palestinians. I think most Americans do, but some who seem to be embracing a terrorist organization over the nation of Israel. What do you make of this moment? What do you think it's a result of? How do we fix it?
Well, I mean, it's just astounding to me that they can't tell the good guys from the bad guys. I mean, just morally.
Maher's stance as a free speech absolutist came through strongly in his critique. He expressed dismay at seeing American college campuses, once bastions of free thought and debate, now becoming echo chambers for radical ideologies. The waving of flags and the support for groups like Hamas on these campuses is, to Maher, a glaring sign of the moral confusion and radicalization that has taken hold.
The nightly news, for example. I can't do it. I mean, first of all, it should be called, here's some video we found that's fun to watch. That's not the news.
Yeah.
You know, like anything that happens on a plane. Like the plane skidded off the runway, so what? Call me when anybody died, and it's not, the door fell off. Okay, I'm sorry.
I understand the door falling off, but you don't want to be up in the air.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. That one I needed to know.
Okay.
He argued that true progressives should be fighting for free speech and open debate, not silencing dissenting voices. Maher believes that the current state of affairs is a betrayal of liberal values, where instead of fostering discussion, the left has become authoritarian in its enforcement of what is deemed acceptable speech and thought.
Yeah, I do.
And then by the time you get to the last segment, it's just, you know, the bears in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
You know, it's just nothing.
Yeah.
And it's narrative over truth. You know,
Yes.
I mean, it's not like when I hear people talk on either side of it, I always think they're lying. They're just telling me half of it.
Yeah.
And I never trust them anywhere until I check out the other half.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's tedious.
Yeah.
You know, I just want one place, and of course it's my book and my show, where you can get both.
You're leading me right into what I was going to talk about, because
And
we are
this
talking
show
about your
too. Sorry.
Yeah.
Here too.
We're talking about your new book.
Maher didn't shy away from criticizing the current administration, particularly regarding its foreign policy and economic decisions. He suggested that Trump's more hardline stance on issues, including his policies on trade and international relations, might have prevented some of the conflicts we're seeing today.
Re-edited and reimagined right in time for Father's Day. What do you want people to take away from reading it?
Well, I think a lot of, I think we're tribal now, which is not good. And I think there's 4 tribes, basically. There's old school liberals, which I would mostly count myself as, old school conservatives. There's still some of those left.
You've changed, though.
Wait, what are the other two? Go ahead.
Well,
what are the other two?
Well, that's what I,
This was a controversial take, but Maher stood firm, urging viewers to consider the outcomes of policies rather than the personalities behind them. He was clear in his disdain for what he called the fake woke, individuals who adopt progressive rhetoric for social capital without genuine commitment to the causes they champion. This performative activism, Maher argued, undermines real progress and dilutes the significance of genuine social justice movements.
I was trying to find out in this book. I don't think I have. And, you know, we were saying in the break, we have to come up with a new word for woke. Let's have a contest, because this is a word that's triggering. But, I mean, those concepts that are different than they were 5 years ago. I mean, we used to do, well, you did it. I was a guest on what was the homeless show? Comic Relief.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
You were, great show.
Yeah.
And homeless was a term that I thought we kind of came up with, because people were calling them bums and vagrants and hobos.
Yeah, now that's
homeless.
the word.
No.
It's unhoused.
Well, it's people
Unhoused.
experiencing
Unhoused.
homelessness. But they're experiencing it on the street.
Yeah.
Okay, the liberal view of that was
Bill Maher's appearance on The View was a masterclass in challenging the status quo and calling out hypocrisy on both sides of the political spectrum. His unwavering commitment to free speech, rational debate, and practical solutions over ideological purity resonated as a powerful reminder of the values that should underpin any genuine progressive movement.
passion's sake. We're the liberals. We're compassionate. Let's get these people off the street. That's not the view of the, whatever word we're going to come up with for this. Their view of the homeless is they're an endangered species that needs to be protected in their natural habitat. living their best life under a bridge. You know, that to me is crazy. That's the kind of things, I haven't changed on that. I still think we should get these people off the street. That's the compassion sake. So I didn't change, they changed, and there's lots of examples of that.
In a world increasingly polarized by extreme viewpoints, Maher's call for a return to common sense and balanced discourse is more relevant than ever. His critique of the woke movement is not a wholesale rejection of social justice, but a plea to reclaim it from the fringes and restore it to its rightful place as a force for genuine, inclusive progress. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.